Cape first, then hat. Thank you. Should have practiced that. Good morning. My name is Amy Dalrymple. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm a worship associate and member of this congregation, the Unitarian Universalist Area Church at First Parish in Sherborn. Welcome to this hour of worship with these words by the Reverend Kim Mason. Once upon a time, chemists believed they could transform lead into gold and death into life. We might laugh, but are we not also in the business of alchemy? Turning loneliness into connection, pain into comfort, anger into solidarity, faith into action. The subtle magic of church combines love with justice, creates hope out of fear, transforms individuals into community. Here we engage in a holy alchemy, finding beauty in the ordinary and life in the present. Come, let us be transformed together.
Good morning. You never know what you're going to get here. I love it. I'll tell you, when we were preparing for last night's Halloween party in Haunted House, Megan Fisk-Clements and I were in the kitchen, and the landline rang. And we're like, what? So she picked it up and went, hello? It was somebody calling to say, hi, I was thinking of coming to your church tomorrow. Can you tell us what the sermon's going to be about? And she said, well, I have a minister right here. So I said, well, it's different every week. And this week we're going to be honoring the spookiness of Halloween, and next week we'll be talking about All Souls and Samhain and honoring, and I gave a lot of caveats, and I said, well, we'd love to welcome you. What? And she said, what time is service? And I said, great. So welcome to a spooky Halloween-y service, which is delightful. It's part of a two-part bit where Ian's going to be kind of leaning into the fun, spooky side, if you haven't already gotten that. And next week for our All Souls service, we'll be kind of honoring the more spiritual sides of traditions around this time of year. So a few pieces of welcome, starting with our logistical welcome. We're going to greet those who are joining us online. If you'd like to wave to the camera, which is over that pillar over there, we're so glad you're joining us. Welcome. Over to your right is some great stuff. You can sign up to light the chalice. We haven't had so many folks signing up. I've been doing a lot of cornering people when they walk in the door here. So I encourage you to sign up to light the chalice, bring flowers, ring the bell. There's also candles and prayer cards you can fill out if you've got something on your heart you'd like us to share, as well as those bright orange theme sheets about forgiveness. There's some great stuff in there. In the back corner of our sanctuary, we have a family area that's cozy and full of quiet toys and books for, anybody who really needs a comfortable place to sit. And we welcome movement and noise as a sign of a vibrant, lively church. We hope you'll join us after the service for coffee hour downstairs, which is accessible by stairs over that way, and an elevator which might still be haunted by a red light over in that corner. It's especially spooky, but it works. And then there's a whole bunch going on after church today, so a few invitations. Today at noon in the Channing room, which is kind of over in the corner over there, Nathan is going to be running his Roots class, talks about UU history and the history of this church. There's homemade soup, and there is childcare available thanks to our nursery care providers. So if you need childcare for that, you can head over to the nursery area and they'll go play with your kids and have a great time. Folks will also be puttering around for the coming of age meeting and Ian's intern meeting. So there will be a lot going on. We hope that next week you'll plan to stick around after church as well for our second Lunch and Learn. The last one was so fun. People really stuck around and really got into it. There's basically one more slot if there's something you would like to teach or lead. If you have a hobby, an interest, a skill that you think might be fun to share with other people of all ages, let me know between now and Tuesday morning, and we'd love to chat. But there's going to be some really fun stuff happening. So 12 to 1:30 next week. There's also a plea from the Good as New shop. They are really in need of volunteers or a volunteer who can help with setup and cleanup on Wednesdays. That's really crucial to be able to run this service to the community and to a lot of us who love to go there. So please talk with Deb, who's in the purple in the back, to get involved in that. It's really fun and it's also really helpful. And finally, speaking of help, I want to thank everyone who helped last night with the Halloween party and haunted house, from the youth who were so scary to the adult volunteers who made everything possible, Megan Bransfield, Megan Fisk-Clements, and Serena Lilly. Thank you all, and thank you to everybody who came and had fun and brought neighbors. It was really great, and amazing that they cleaned up so well that you could barely tell that there was a haunted house, although Ian's robe was missing, but we got it back. So with that, we hope you'll enjoy greeting one another. You can give hugs or handshakes with consent, and we hope you'll introduce yourself to someone you don't know yet.
When I am frightened, will you reassure me? When I'm uncertain, will you hold my hand? Will you be strong for me? Sing to me quietly. Will you share some of your stories with me? If you will show me compassion, then I may learn to care as I do. Then I may learn to care.
Good morning. My name is Ian Evans. I'm your ministerial intern. My pronouns are he, him. These opening words come from the Reverend Christian Schmidt, and they'll be on the slides to my left and right. No matter who or what you are welcome here. We welcome princesses and princes, paupers and farmhands, aliens and astronauts, robots and cyborgs, firefighters and police officers, nurses and doctors, cowboys, cowgirls, cowfolk of all varieties. We welcome Superman and Wonder Woman, Black Panther, Batman, Spider-Man, Black Widow, and Thor. Indeed, we welcome both superheroes and superstars. In short, we welcome people, monsters, and all other manner of creatures. Here, we welcome you and all of who and what you are. Let us begin. Please stand as you are willing and able and join us for our opening hymn, number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me.
And friends, let me invite us to stay standing as Emma Paul, home from college for a little bit, comes from her to light our chalice. As we say together our covenant, both our covenant and our chalice for the life and faith of our congregation. And let us say together, love is the spirit of this church, and service is its name. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. Thank you. Please be seated. And I'd love to invite some young people up, young in spirit, young in age and stage. Good morning, everybody. Wait, were you? No, you weren't. I'm trying to think which one of you scared me last night at the haunted house. A few of you did, actually. Actually, it was you. I might have said a not a great word when you did that. Oops. So my name is Reverend Nathan. I haven't done Wonderbox with you all year so far. I've been slacking. That's because we have fantastic, of course, Reverend Joe and Sully and our new intern Ian, and they've been doing all the work, and I've just been resting and laying back and chilling out. So first of all, what's also cool today is that I get to be in the classroom with Beth Bergeron for the 6th graders. So that's pretty exciting, right? I know. It's gonna be a great class. Beth, where are you? Yeah, she's getting ready for the class. So, and I just want to give a shout out to Sarah who did the slides, which are amazing today. Have you noticed them? So, for those of you who don't know, every Sunday we do a Wonder Box, and our Wonder Box is right here, and we open it and we talk a little about what's inside. So, who would like to open our Wonder Box this morning? I saw a first hand right to my right. I want you to unfold it, turn around and unfold it, and I want you to hold it up for every single person, particularly all the way in the back, to see. Can everyone see what that is? I want you to do a quick but not running lap. Just go around and walk around, okay? Okay. For those who saw it, what is it? It's a skull and face of an old man. I mean, pretty old, yeah. Yep. And it looks like it was drawn with what? A pencil. Interesting. Okay. Fantastic. Now, who would like to go on a field trip? Did I see your hand, Sarah? Oh, no, I said... Okay. All right, so you know, like when you're in school, they always ask you to line up. Yeah, we're not going to do that. But I do need everybody to not go ahead of me. So we're going to go this way. So I'm going to get your... All right? Anybody who wants to come on a field trip, we're not going to like disappear. For those who are watching at home, we have a slide for you, so don't worry. Or if you want to stay seated, you can watch the slide too. All right? We ready? Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, team members. Thank you for doing your work today. Uh-oh, we're roadblocked. All right, people playing games in the back, I need you just to move just for a sec. This is what happens back here when we're talking? Well, are you guys playing Dungeons and Dragons? There's a secret game of D&D happening in the back. Okay, can we just move the game over to my left for a second? Because I have a whole bunch of people here for a field trip. Hold on, Rosie, hold on. I know, but I need you, look, there's like 100 and something people waiting for you. This is not part of the plan. Okay, so we are here at this situation. What is this, first of all? It's the same exact skull. What is this? What is this? It's a gravestone. Okay. Who can tell me what the name says? Here lies body of, I hope not, Reverend M. Daniel. Close. Gookin. Who knows who Reverend Dan was? Who? Do you know?
Yeah.
Who? Go for it.
It was the guy that started this church.
He was the first minister in 1685. Is he here?
No. Obviously not. Yes, he is.
No. Well, okay, so he's not here, we hope. He's buried at the Sherborn Cemetery up the road, but this is his first headstone. All right, what are we noticing about the pictures?
It's the same exact skull.
It's the same exact skull. And what did Reverend Nathan do? I got a piece of paper and I got a pencil. You can do this and you can trace it. All right, what I want to tell us a couple things, okay? Hold on a second. Anyone know what the skull and the wings on either side, either my field trippers back here or anybody in our congregation, know what that means? Anybody know? Do you know what it means, Eliza?
I know.
Hold on. You don't know? Rosie, do you know what it means?
I think it means going off to another land and
That's
dying and going to heaven or something.
That is right. So this was the Puritans who created this, and they didn't have any religious symbols. No religious symbols were allowed. And so, but what they did allow was wings on the side of a skull, which meant that the body stayed here, but the soul went to heaven. Wow. Anybody else know that in our room? That's what the symbol means. Okay, anybody else notice something else about the shape of the top? It's like a circle. Do we know why? Anybody else know why? Anybody else in our congregation know why? Do you know why? No. Anybody know why it's a circle? Or a half circle?
To show,
No, so, and I learned this from Ian, who's our intern. It's not that I knew this. Our student is telling me all kinds of stuff. This is the shape to mean a doorway. A doorway from this life into the next life. A doorway to heaven. Yeah. How does this make you feel, seeing this here? How does it make you feel? It makes you sad? Sad?
scared.
Scared? Anybody else, how does it make you feel to know this is back here? Knowing that he's going to live a good afterlife, a good life, okay? Hundreds of years. How it makes me feel is that sometimes a scary thing, it can look like a scary thing, actually can make it a little bit less scary knowing about what is back here and what it has to tell us. And it helps me like have compassion and actually for the people that made this and the things that they wanted to tell us. That Reverend Dan has a spirit that's still in our midst. That's kind of cool, isn't it? Anyway, I thought it was pretty cool, but I'm like a church nerd. And that broke. All right, so friends, our friends not playing D&D and everyone else who is going off to faith formation classes, we are going to now continue the other part of our field trip to classes as Kathleen plays our song, Go Now in Peace. Happy little dinosaurs.
With that reminder of the way spirituality has been a part of this community for hundreds of years, the way it's evolved, we take our own time to pause, to reflect, to think about what's on our hearts or the people we're remembering or whatever it is that we feel like needs to be lifted up. So I invite you to sit more comfortably or rest your feet on the floor, take a fuller breath, see if there's anything in your body that you can release. And we take these few moments of intention and prayer together, beginning in our prayer hymn, The Lone Wild Bird. The lyrics will be on the screen. We know that whenever we gather, there is so much on our hearts: joys and sorrows, hopes and prayers, loved ones we're thinking of, people we want to pray for, things in the world. We share now these prayers for loved ones that were written. We offer our prayers for Michael Frasinelli, who lost his dad yesterday, peacefully at home, surrounded by family. A prayer from Andrea Whittam for her friend Sharon, for health, strength, and stability. From Sierra, who writes, for the matriarch of our family, Kathy Weld, who died this week after a 2-week illness. A prayer from Emma Paul. A prayer for the Knoll family as they prepare to manage the 1-year anniversary of their son Nathan's passing by suicide. And we continue to lift up prayers for the family of Dee Fair, as well as all who loved her. We share that calling hours for Dee Fair, who passed suddenly last week, will be tonight for those who want to pay condolences to the family are this evening from 4 to 8 p.m. at Chasmore Funeral Home in Holliston. The funeral is tomorrow at 11 a.m. at Chasmore Funeral Home. We offer our condolences and love. And if there is someone whose name is on your heart right now, we invite you, if you'd like, to say it into this space. For all of these loved ones, we light a candle. And we turn our attention outward, looking perhaps through these clear glass windows at this gorgeous blue sky and the fall leaves, and remembering that sanctuary isn't just a place or something that we take in here, but something that we create out into the world. We offer this prayer for the world. Someone writes, concern for the fragility of an American tradition known as the freedom of the press. And another person writes, for St. Mary's Parish in Franklin and all churches recently the target of arsonists. For all those in our neighborhood, in our country, and in the world, suffering or scared, we offer our prayers and light a candle. And even on days when everything feels so broken, we remember that things can be made more whole through love and gratitude. We offer these expressions of gratitude. First, from Sierra, she offers gratitude, saying that my 2 elderly pets came through surgery with flying colors on Friday. So glad to hear it. We give thanks for all of the volunteers who show up day after day, week after week, to serve this community with love and devotion, whether it feels like a little thing that you offer or you know that it's a heavy lift. We give thanks for you. For all of these, in gratitude, we light a candle. I invite you to join me now in a time of prayer and meditation. We offer this prayer adapted from Reverend Maureen Killoran. This is a prayer for all who are fearful about the economy, about the fate of our country, about health care for yourself or your children, for all whose heart aches at the injustices being done to others in our name, for all who feel fear for the survival of the planet, for all who fear whether they will be allowed to enter or to leave, or to remain. We make this prayer for all who deal daily with failing health, difficult diagnoses, challenging treatments, or healthcare routines. For all who struggle with difficulties at school or at work, for all who are facing hard decisions, for all who are living with challenging relationships. We make this prayer for ourselves, for all of the fears and concerns, the joys and celebrations. We make this prayer for the children in our midst, for their future and for possibility. We make this prayer to hold in our hearts the precious blessing of our lives. We make this prayer not because we expect it to make the world turn or change. We make this prayer to remind ourselves of who we are, of what life is, and how important love can be. We make this prayer because these are the words that we need to share. Let us be together in prayerful silence.
Today's reading is an excerpt from William Faulkner's novel, Requiem for a Nun. The past is never dead. It's not even past. All of us labor in webs spun long before we were born, webs of hereditary and environment, of desire and consequence, of history and eternity. Haunted by wrong turns and roads not taken, we pursue images perceived as new, but whose providence dates to the dim dramas of childhood, which are themselves but ripples of consequence echoing down the generations. The quotidian demands of life distract from this resonance of images and events, but some of us feel it always.
It's always a debate whether it's easier to bring the chair up or roll up. Every week at UUAC, we collect an offering and we give it all away to support an organization that lives out our values of love, service, justice, and peace. And we're only able to give 100% of it away thanks to the pledges of members and friends, which keep us going. This week, we're collecting an offering for Embrace Boston. As we were planning for a service where we're talking about the things that haunt us, the worship team wanted to find a local organization that helps repair some of the harm that's done by our country's haunting legacy of slavery. Embrace Boston is one such organization working at the intersection of arts and culture and research and policy for a more equitable city. You may know them best by the stunning sculpture depicting the love of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King called The Embrace, and the 1965 Freedom Plaza on Boston Common. Embrace Boston's big picture vision is of a transformed city where we've stopped the cycles of historical and ongoing harming of Black people. I always love it when the arts and culture are expressions and tools of justice, and I love it even more when the mission is grounded in research and is out there working for policy changes to stop the harm. Embrace Boston advocates on behalf of legislation and policies that help dismantle structural racism in the city of Boston, where I live, across the state of Massachusetts, and including in the realms of housing, transportation, education, criminal legal systems, health, and income and wealth. If you are moved to donate in support of Embrace Boston's important mission, you can make an offering by scanning the QR code on the screen or in your order of service or in your pews, or by giving something tangible, a cash or check, as the baskets come around. Thank you for your generosity.
My beloved monster and me, we go everywhere together, wearing a raincoat that has 4 sleeves, gets us through all kinds of weather, and she will always be the only thing that comes between me and the awful sting that comes from living in a world that's so damn mean. My beloved three-headed monster is tough. If she wants, she will destroy you. But if you lay her down for a kiss, her little heart, it could explode. But she will always be the only thing that comes between me and the awful sting that comes from living in a world that's so damn mean. But she will always be the only thing that comes between me and the awful sting that comes from living in a world that's so damn mean. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Good morning. I really wanted to lean into the Halloweeniness of this service, as you can tell. And luckily, the worship team was enthusiastically on board. I love it. And Halloween's been on my mind because I have this friend, Louise, and about once a week we go and we get coffee and we talk. And Louise is one of those people who tends to set their bar a little bit just too high, but they gave themselves a goal that they would watch 100 horror movies before Halloween. I had my doubts, but I said, oh. But last time I checked, Louise, I think as of today, is going to be up to 96, so I think they're going to make it. At one of the recent coffee get-togethers, I asked Louise, why? And one of the things that they said was that horror movies, they're always about something, at least the good ones. And I know that not everyone is going to be super on board with this idea. Not everyone loves horror movies, so let me start with an example. The Night of the Living Dead, classic horror movie, the classic zombie movie. But if you've ever seen it, you know that it doesn't end with zombies. In the end, the main character, played by Dwayne Jones, a black man, is mistaken for a ghoul and shot by an armed posse of white men. Watching it today, it's not subtle. The movie came out in 1968, right during the Civil Rights Movement, and just 6 months before Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. By its very nature, horror is uniquely able to confront the most frightening aspects of ourselves and our society. And this, I think, is especially true in movies about hauntings. People and houses are rarely just haunted by ghosts. They're haunted by trauma. They're haunted by loss. They're haunted by the expectations of others, by the American dream. But it's never just a ghost. And whether you enjoy these scary stories or completely avoid them, whether you believe in ghosts or not, this, I think, is true. We are all haunted. all of us. What is a ghost but something from the past taking form and affecting us in the present? And we all have things from our past that affect us today, right? When we've hurt people, when we've been hurt, regret the people we've lost. The pain we see in another's eyes that we don't know how to heal. We're all haunted. My grandmother had Alzheimer's for years. And when I was in college, I remember going to visit her with my father. And I just couldn't believe that the gaunt woman in the medical bed in this shared white room was my grandmother. I don't know if she knew who I was. I don't know if she knew who my father, her son, was. Walking out of that place is one of the only times I've seen my father cry. And I never went back, and I never saw her again. And I'm haunted by that memory. I'm haunted by the fact that I didn't do more to comfort her, whether she knew who I was or not. Because I was so frightened of this disease, what it was doing to my grandmother and to my family. I was haunted by the disease, and I was haunted by the healthcare system that contorted my grandma into a body in a bed. What are you haunted by? What are you haunted by? The thing about ghosts is that they can be intimate and they can be personal, haunting just us. Or they can haunt a group, a family, a community. They can even, I would posit, haunt an entire nation. In 1977, J. Anson published The Amityville Horror, A True Story, which was then made into a movie in 1979. And if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert for this entire sermon, I suppose. A family, the Lutzes, find a nice suburban home on Long Island that they get on the cheap because it was the site of 6 grisly murders. So even as you are shouting at the screen, obviously don't buy that house, you're in a horror movie, they buy it, and they move in, and things go predictably awry. And as the Lutzes are trying to figure out why their home is so haunted, a local historian and then a psychic inform them that their house is built on an ancient Indian burial ground, a place sacred to the Shinnecock tribe. Never mind that the Shinnecock people have never lived on that part of Long Island. The book's subtitle, A True Story, is, to put it generously, heavily disputed. The Amityville Horror touches on a lot of things: the suburbanization of America, financial stress, family abuse. But it also popularized the trope of the haunted Indian burial ground, which is now a horror cliche. And it's in Stephen King's Pet Sematary, and it's in the movie The Shining. And this trope is, on its face, pretty racist. It builds on both the magical Indian and the scary, savage Indian stereotypes. But it does also get at a very real haunting. We do live on stolen land. My parents were in town last week, and my mom wanted to do some genealogy work. And so we went to the grave of one of my ancestors, William Axtell. He died in a conflict with the native peoples that we now know as King Philip's War. And that's part of my history. my legacy. European settlers enacted genocide to create these United States, and our society has desecrated their remains. And that should haunt us, because it's haunting. And we as Americans are haunted by a lot of our collective history. Native genocide was the first, but certainly not the last atrocity. We are still and especially haunted by slavery, the failure of Reconstruction, the hundreds of years, including today, of this country treating Black people as less deserving of rights, freedoms, and basic dignity. And that's important. It's important right now that we recognize that we're haunted by it, because we are in the middle of grappling with that history, with the stories and the myths that we tell about this country, and whether we want to confront those heroic myths and the terrible ghosts that they're hiding, or pretend they're not there and let the ghosts fester. If you were able to attend the History Committee's meeting last week, you'll know that this community right now is in the middle of the hard work of uncovering and better understanding this congregation's history, including its ghosts. And that's hard work. The Amityville Horror, unfortunately, does not try to grapple with these issues. The Lutzes just move out, but of course, whatever it is follows them. How else do you build a horror franchise and have Amityville Horror 2? But also, when you don't address your ghosts, they don't go away. They follow us and shape us, and they shape generations. Even when they remain invisible, as ghosts are wont to do, maybe especially when they're invisible. That's when our ghosts have power. There is another movie that grapples with this a little bit more. 1999's The Sixth Sense, where a psychologist begins working with a young boy, Cole, who says that he can see dead people. The movie starts with the usual ghost stereotypes. Suddenly, all the kitchen cabinets and drawers fly open. There's shadows in the corner of the room. There's a scary ghost girl, because there's always a scary ghost girl in these movies. And later on, Cole stops running from this girl. And instead, he does what no one else can. He talks to her. And he learns that she's been killed tragically. And because Cole alone can see her and communicate with her, he is able to help catch the killer, and the girl can rest in peace. Cole's not haunted by anything that he did. He's only 9 years old. His house is not on a spooky burial ground. He did not say Bloody Mary in the mirror, and he did not play with a Ouija board or any of the other myriad of things that happen to make these hauntings happen in the movies. Cole is haunted because he alone has the ability and therefore the responsibility to right a wrong. His responsibility is what haunts him. His haunting tells him what his work is. So if we are all haunted, what do your hauntings tell you? Where is your work? Where is our work? And I want to say right here that I know that it's not always so simple, because horror movies are also chock full of ghosts that should not be trusted. Dark things that can possess your whole brain and body and lie and do the opposite of driving you to do the good work, like grief and trauma. There are some memories that we're not ready to uncover. And sometimes our brains tell us things to which we should not listen. And it takes discernment to know when to listen to the things that haunt us. And if you need help discerning what your ghosts are telling you, then here is another tip from horror movies: never, ever go alone. If a character in a horror movie ever says, "I think we should split up," or "stay here, I'll go check it out," you know some bad stuff is about to happen. In the movies and in real life, it is trying to go it alone that leads to tragedy. So if you are not sure if you should listen to your ghosts or what they're telling you, ask for help. A couple of summers ago, I was working as a chaplain in training as part of my theological formation. And we could apply to work in hospitals, mental institutions, prisons. I chose to work at an elder care facility, specifically with people who had dementia. And there were many reasons that I chose it. And among them was the memory of my grandmother. I wish that I could have done more. Now I could, for people like her. I wish I hadn't been so afraid. Now I can confront that fear with and for others. Her memory still haunts me, but I don't mind now, as I'm trying to listen. And even now, when I think about her kindness and her easy laugh, her quick wit, I want to help others feel that kind of comfort that she gave me when I visited every holiday. I want to help make a world in her image, where kindness and laughter are easy and abounding. That's what her ghost is asking of me. And that's no small task, because the world is scary right now. Do you feel that too? Not just with the election, although absolutely yes with the election. Every day I wake up and I am haunted by news of more people in Gaza killed with the weapons that my country sent, because the U.S. has not been able to fully confront its violent ghosts, because not confronting ghosts can cost lives. But also the frighteningly ordinary realities of families who wonder if they can afford groceries this week or medicine, the portent of an 80-degree day in October, our friends and family who are in pain and who are exhausted, that neighbor who is sick, the unkindness that we show ourselves when we are unable or unwilling to give ourselves the time to rest and heal. It all just feels like too much sometimes. And that's the real haunting. Our specifics may be different, but we're all haunted by a world that we wish wasn't the way that it is. Like coal, we're haunted by our responsibility to repair it. Not to save it, not to fix it. Unfortunately, we can't fix most of our hauntings. We just have to do what we can. Help where we can. When I was working as a chaplain, there were days when I just felt useless. What do you do in the face of something as intractable as dementia? You do what you can. And that's what my supervisor, Rabbi Nadich, taught me. She would quote at me from Rabbi Tarfon, who wrote and taught in the 1st century CE. It is not your duty to finish the work, but neither are you at liberty to neglect it. Reminds me of what Nathan says. We cannot do everything, but we can do something, and that something is never nothing. To be haunted by the world is to have a responsibility towards it. What do your hauntings tell you about where your work is? Is it personal, internal work? Repairing a relationship? Saying you're sorry? Making that phone call? Is it local, community work? Feeding the hungry, housing the homeless? Is it justice work? Protesting? Writing to your representatives? And that's not rhetorical. I want to know. We want to know. In the line after service, at coffee hour, at a committee meeting, send me an email. I want to know, because we're all haunted. And we can all be haunted together. Whatever you're haunted by, I promise that there are others who are haunted by something like it. The problem is that facing those ghosts can be scarier than any movie. But if we can face them, if we can see them, if we can hear them, it's because they're asking us for help. Because there's something each of us can do that no one else can. The work is the work of repair, of making our lives and our world into the place we want it to be, into the place where our ghosts can rest in peace. And now I've forgotten what comes after the sermon. Please join me for our closing hymn, number 1012, When I Am Frightened.
When I am frightened, will you reassure me? When I'm uncertain, will you hold my hand? Will you be strong for me? Sing to make
As we extinguish the chalice and the prayer candles, let us say together our call to ministry. We go forth into the world in peace, to act with works of love, to affirm one person's dignity, and care on the living earth. Here we are, haunted together. May we listen to our ghosts with our hearts and move into the world doing our small but vital work to repair the world. May it be so, and amen. Go in peace.